What's up everyone, this is Tranquil Toys. Today I'm taking a look at the new G.I. Joe figure that was released pretty recently, Snow Job. Or he can also be a generic Arctic soldier. So there's some flexibility here. Definitely you can get multiples and put different heads on it to have like a whole squad of Arctic troopers. There's a decent amount of accessories included with this guy, so that's pretty cool. I was excited when I first saw this figure because this is kind of a different thing that I haven't seen. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also the skis, he does come with skis, and I thought that was pretty cool. You can put that on other figures. So we're going to see how that turns out later. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at the figure. So the figure itself it's okay, but there are some problems. I don't know if it's just with my figure or if this is going to be something that's a problem with all the figures that are coming out. But this is a problem that I had with my particular copy. So the first issue is with the bicep here. You can see that it's a lot more gappy than this one over here. This one's pretty flush with the shoulder, which is good. That's how it's supposed to be. But this one over here is a lot more gappy, and you can actually remove it with little to no effort. So I'll just show you. So it wasn't that hard to take off, and you can see that's not showing up really well, but I took another video of it. The inside of it is like warped or something's like not right. That's what's causing that gap right there, and that's why it's not appearing on the other side, because the other side is right. And the second problem, well, the other problems that I have with this figure have to do with the articulation, so I'll deal with that when we get into the articulation. But if you guys have this figure, let me know if you have that problem with the bicep. Besides that, the actual look of the figure is pretty nice. I do like the head sculpt. I think the painting is pretty good, even on the alternate head sculpt. But the rest of the body, or the rest of the outfit, I think is pretty good. I like all the details of the pockets on the side of the arms, and the gray painting on the front, and also on the belt, and the silver buckles on the back. It's just brown on the belts. Same thing on the legs. You got the pockets on the thigh and on the ankle down here. And then the holster for the pistol, which is kind of a disappointing looking pistol in my opinion. And then the boots. I think bigger boots or different boots would have been better with this figure. Just something that looks more fit for the snow. Almost like Eskimo boots or something like that. These just look like regular boots that you could wear anywhere. But either way, I do like the look of the figure. Even the fur up here on the collar is good, or on the hood. It does come with an alternate piece with the hood up that you can put over the head. Go over the articulation pretty quickly. The head does have pretty good articulation. You do have a ball joint in the neck, and then a dumbbell joint between the head and the neck. So dumbbell joint from the head into the neck, and then a ball joint from the neck into the body. So that does give you a decent amount of range, especially with this collar piece in the way. So it does tilt and tilt both sides pretty well. You can look up, but you're going to get some gappage with the hood piece here. And you can look down a decent amount. Also the fact that this figure is cast in this white plastic. Some of the white doesn't look like it matches. You can definitely bet that there's going to be some paint rubbing off from the belt and from his beard onto the figure, so that's something that you got to be aware of. That's kind of what happens with figures that are cast in white plastic. They pick up other colors easier. And then of course the head also does swivel. Now the shoulders are, pretty much what you'd expect. They go up that far, which is good. It's pretty much all that you're going to need. They also swivel all the way around. Now the butterfly joints are pretty much useless, and here's kind of one of the biggest disappointing things, is that these don't have the improved butterfly joints like the ones that Shipwreck had. Shipwreck had better butterfly joints in my opinion, and they didn't use those on this figure. This is kind of like the old style where it barely moves. It doesn't offer any extra amount of range. So that's disappointing that they kind of went backwards with that. I was hoping this figure would be like really good, but so that's the first disappointing thing. The bicep swivel is good, at least on this side. On this side, a little tight because it has that imperfection inside of the bicep joint that I showed you guys earlier. Double elbows work as you'd expect. And he does come with 2 trigger finger hands, the vertical hinge that goes up and down, no alternate hands, which is disappointing. That's something that I wish this figure would have come with, because he holds his guns pretty well, and he holds the ski poker things pretty well with the same hands, but I wish he would have come with 2 different sets of hands for each of those things. just because it's not a perfect grip on the accessories. So I would have liked to have two different sets of hands for those different accessories. But besides that, you know, he holds everything that he needs to pretty well. But I'm hoping that's something that they'll add in the future. And from some of the reveals that I've seen recently, it does look like they're going to start doing that with some of the figures, so that's nice. Then in the torso, the upper torso appears to have a dumbbell joint. Doesn't move very far forward or very far back. It's a little bit, but it's not that much. And then tilting side to side is even less, so it definitely could improve on that. And you can probably customize that yourself. Then in the lower torso joint, it doesn't really offer that much either. But that far with just that bottom joint, and it goes back that far. Tilts not very much, but then both of the joints together gets you that extra amount of range, which could have been better, you know, if they just would have fixed both of those joints in there. But it's, I mean, it's pretty good for a guy in a this kind of jacket. I think that's pretty good. And then of course it does swivel, and there's no problems there. There's no clickiness, so that's good. Then the bottom part of the jacket is a separate piece, so you can slide it up or down. But we're going to take a look at the legs here, so I'll slide it up. And you can see we have drop-down hips. And again, these are not the new drop-down hips that move smoothly. These are the old ones. And as you move the leg up, it sort of strains the joint inside. And I thought they moved away from that. You know, there's been a couple figures, like a handful of figures, that don't have that problem. Earlier on it was a problem, now it's a problem again. I don't understand why, you know, they're using those old parts that don't work as good. So like the butterfly joints and these kind of drop down hips. I thought they fixed that, but I guess I don't know what exactly their plan is with doing that, but that problem does appear here. So you can see, I'll show you from this side. When you try to move the leg, there is a lot of resistance there. It does move a little bit, but as you can see, it still kind of fights back, and that's because it's stressing that leg joint in there, and it's pulling on the leg joint as you're moving the leg. So an okay amount of leg movement. His legs sort of kick out. I'm not sure why. And there's also some staining. I don't know if the camera picks that up, but there's some staining right there on the leg. So already it's starting to pick up some of the other colors from the plastic. Now the right leg is not giving me as much resistance as the left one, but I'm definitely going to have to go heat that up, take it off, and then sand down the ball joint. But besides that, they work pretty well. Of course, you can do the splits that far, pretty far, so that's good. Thigh swivel works as you'd expect. No problems there. Double knees, same thing, no problems there, except that it doesn't go very far. It could have gone further, and you could probably modify that yourself if you wanted to make that go further. And then we do have an ankle swivel at the bottom down here, so it's sort of tight, but it is possible to swivel that whole joint around, so that's good that they included that. They could have easily left that out, but that does help with standing, especially when you put the snowshoes on it or the skis on him. That extra amount of articulation helps you to stand him better. It is pretty difficult to make him to stand with the snowshoes on, and we'll get to that later. The ankle goes up that far, goes down decent amount, and it does rock on that joint. So the articulation is decent. You know, there's a couple problems here and there that I have with it. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But now we'll take a look at the accessories, and it does come with quite a bit. One of the cool things is that you can attach all the accessories onto the backpack that he comes with. So you can put literally everything that he has, all the accessories that he has, you can put them on this backpack. So here's what the backpack looks like with all the stuff on it. It's almost as tall as him. It's actually about the same height as the figure. And then it attaches onto his back. There's no problems there. It is kind of a loose fit though, and of course it makes him sort of fall backwards. You got to get the right point to make him to stand up, and it is kind of loose because with minimal shaking it will fall off. So if he has that backpack on and he falls, the backpack is coming off. So there's a couple of cool features with this thing. It's not just a backpack. Of course, one of the features is you can put all the stuff on there, like the ski poker things. I'm not sure what they're called. Maybe these are the skis. Well, aren't these the skis? So I don't know what these things are, the ski swords or whatever the heck. They do tab into these two clamps right there. And then in addition to that, there's some straps here that you can undo to put the skis on. So that's cool. And they're pretty easy to take on and off. Then of course his rifle fits into here, and it does have a removable magazine. So just so you know, no blast effects, which is sort of unfortunate, but at this point we have a lot anyway. So then the snowshoes tab into the bottom right there. Then you're left with just the backpack and just a regular backpack. No other paint on there. It's just that light brown color. Would have been nice to give it a wash. I might do that. Maybe paint the silver buckles. And of course he also comes with his thigh holster with a pistol, which is sort of disappointing. Does fit in nicely, and then it sticks out at the bottom. Never been a fan of that. I don't know why they do that all the time. The alternate head, that's also pretty cool. Make a Chuck Norris custom. It comes with these goggles, which sort of reflect the light, because in snowy environments, you know, the sun reflects off the snow and it could be blinding to people. So that's why you got to have those reflective goggles. And then here's the hood that he comes with, and I'll show you what he looks like with this on. The hood can only fit over this head with the thing on top of it, so it doesn't fit over the head with the hair. And if you try that, well, it might be possible. We'll see later. And it's pretty easy to put. You just put the head into the hood first, and then you put it on the joint, and that's what it looks like. So this is a pretty cool look. This is definitely one of the better looks. There's obviously different looks that you can give him. I think this is probably my favorite. Second look you can give him is with his hair all out and everything, and this also looks pretty cool, but I definitely prefer this look better. So you can put the unmasked head into the hood. That's what that looks like. So that's just another option, another display option, that you can display him like that. And you can only put the goggles over this head like that, and it just goes on like that, and you put it into the hood, and that's what that looks like. And then you put it onto the body, and that's what that looks like. And this is pretty cool. And then putting the skis on, of course, is pretty easy. He's got a hole on the bottom of his heel, so you have to line that up with the peg that's on the bottom of the ski. It's not the best fit, and it does come off pretty easily sometimes. So there's what that looks like, and that looks pretty cool. And that's what he looks like holding the pokers and with the skis. And like I said, you can get into some cool poses. It looks like he's bombing down a hill or something. He's doing tricks or whatever. For most poses, the skis are going to hold him up and balance him to stay up. So there's a lot of options there to pose him. So there's another pose you can do. And now here he is. He knows skiing, and he's also shooting. So he's shooting and skiing at the same time. You can do the splits while skiing, while shooting. Yeah, they're already falling off. So this is kind of another part that I don't like, is that these snowshoes don't fit. So I feel like they could have engineered that a little bit better. Standing them up is easy, but getting them to a pose. So yeah, the snowshoes aren't the best for poses. It's a nice addition, nice accessory. Sometimes it does work, most of the time it doesn't. So I honestly don't really care for those. So that's pretty much everything you can do with the figure. Now I'll move on to some of the more exciting things, at least for me. The customization options and head swaps and things like that. Putting the skis on other figures. So first of all, of course, the skis will work with other Hasbro figures. Here it is on Spider-Man. So that looks pretty cool, pretty funny. And of course they fit on other G.I. Joe figures. It does also fit on the female G.I. Joe figures. The difference is that the hole on the female figure's boots are actually on the front of the boot instead of the back of the boot. That's what that looks like. Not too bad. And then you can also put some of the other things on there as well. The head sculpts with less hair getting in the way will fit better, but sometimes it does work. You can put a white jacket on there. Then with the ski poker things, so I really like the way this looks. It was one of those ideas that I had when I first saw the original figure come out. And I know this jacket already has like a fur hood that's pretty much similar to this hood. It doesn't really fit the same way that this one does. I actually prefer the way this looks better, and this doesn't fit around the head as good. So in my opinion, I just think this looks better. And the skis also fit on Voliver's figures. Here's my custom Jean-Claude Van Damme on the Sergeant Slaughter Voliver's figure. And the holes on the boot on the heel, so it fits the same way that it does on the G.I. Joe figures. And that's what that looks like. So pretty standard, pretty normal. Here's Jean-Claude Van Damme, ready for the snow. And then of course you can swap the heads around with the G.I. Joe figures. So here's the alternate snow job head on Shipwreck. So it kind of looks like a Chuck Norris sailor. And then we have Shipwreck, ready for the winter. I guess this could also work as a Rebel Hoth Trooper. I don't have any of my Star Wars figures out. They're all in a box right now. But that's something you can do in your Star Wars display. The skis only work with figures that have holes on the bottom of their feet. It's kind of disappointing to say this, but they will not work with model kits or Figmas. But they will work with, you know, pretty much anything Hasbro, really. I already tried Marvel Legends, other G.I. Joe figures, Voliver's, also Star Wars figures as well. So that's how that fits onto there. That actually fits on there nicely. So you can make like a custom snow clone trooper, snow trooper. I guess you can kind of fit the hood on the model kit. You guys let me know what you think about that. You know, it would be nice if it would fit on the skis, you know, but it doesn't. There's no holes on the bottom of the feet. So if you bought multiples of this figure, you can do customs like the different Joe characters in snow gear. I know it's the Captain America Marvel Legends head sculpt, but it's kind of what I'm using as my Duke now. They just revealed the retro Duke. I'll be picking that up for sure. And here's Roadblock. You know, the body is probably a little bit too slim for a character like Roadblock, but still fits in the hood there. Then if you have the Lim Toys Leon, Leon's head does fit on there. It looks a little bit small on there, but I think it could still work. So that doesn't look too bad. And the head also fits inside the hood. So that's what that looks like. And I think that's pretty much everything that I can think of right now. You guys let me know in the comments if you want to see some other head swaps or custom ideas. You can let me know. I might post it on Instagram. We'll get into some size comparisons and then I'll wrap the video up. Here he is next to Lim Toys Leon, Shipwreck, a custom Duke, or just a Voliver's body, Roadblock, the Bandai Kazuya, Black Series 501st Clone Trooper, Figma Rin, Frontline Chaos Deer figure, Marvel Legends Spider-Man, and then a Boss Fight Studio skeleton. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about this figure. It's not bad. There are some good things about it. There are some negative things about it, especially in the hip area, you know, with the leg joints, with the defect in the bicep. Again, let me know if you guys got that too. And the butterfly joints being pretty much useless. So, and this figure was $35. Like, I know it does come with more accessories than normal, but that's pretty much where all the value is. It's not really in the figure itself. I guess there's a lot of sculpt work, but there's not a whole lot of paint detail. It's just white and gray. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this figure, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.